Should Democrats try to reconcile with Trump supporters? Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. So, should we try to reconcile with the Trump humpers out there? Should we try to be nice to people who voted for Donald Trump? No, the last guy who called in at the end of the last hour, he was like, he wanted to take on China, and I like that. I am quite willing to believe that he was being honest. And I think, I had a conversation with Chauncey DeVega about this yesterday. I think it's going to show up on his program or podcast in the next few days, in which I said, I think that the Trump vote is probably largely, there are some people who are just kind of, we're culturally conservative, but usually that's just code for racism. But I think probably about half the Trump voters are racist, and about the other half are people who really believed, low information voters, Fox News watchers, who really believed that Donald Trump was trying to do something about the economy, who actually believed that he made a good economy because he said it over and over again. Obama gave the lie to it. In the last 3 years of the Obama administration, more jobs were created than in the first 3 years of the Trump administration. All Trump did was he had the good fortune to preside over a 3-year echo of the Obama boom. But in any case, I think that there are some people out there who voted for Trump for what you might consider to be better reasons than worse reasons. I'm not sure how many of them there are, but even those folks, you can, for the very best of reasons, support somebody. The people love the fact that Hitler made the trains, or Mussolini made the trains run on time, and Hitler invented the Volkswagen and built the Autobahn. Does that excuse the gas chambers? I realize that that's the extreme metaphor that you should never go to, but at what point do you say, I'm not going to accept you into polite society? At what point do you say this to Trump voters and to the Trump humpers in the administration? People, there's all this kind of buzz, and I don't know how much of it is schadenfreude and how much of it is real. Somebody on one of the message boards yesterday or the day before, they were talking about that they overheard somebody in a restaurant talking on the phone going, nobody wants my resume because I worked in the administration. How long is this going to last? Maybe not. But I'm not willing to accept these people back into polite society. They damn near destroyed this country. You can be all in favor of having a protectionist trade policy with regard to China and, frankly, the rest of the world. I'm all in favor of that. I think America should be putting our working class people first in terms of all economic decisions. And I get it, that there's a whole global elite, and many of them are Democrats. Tom Friedman wrote a whole book, right? The Lexus and the Olive Tree, promoting global free trade. It's going to solve everything. And, there was this big theory that, if all of our economies became interdependent, we'd never go to war with each other. There may be some truth to that. But I think as a general principle, it's not probably as strong as the importance of simply having your own country be strong. China now has a larger economy than us because we sent our jobs there. So, yeah, I get it that people are voting these kind of things. But in the process, they were voting for the destruction of democracy in America. They were voting for a psychotic president, a guy that if he had been born poor would be a serial killer and is now satisfying his revenge fantasies by sitting around with Jared Kushner back in April of this year, chuckling about how blue state governors were having to deal with the fact that in blue states, lots and lots of people were dying and the hospitals were overflowing and they were having to bring trucks, morgue trucks in. We literally have death and destruction as the result of the Trump presidency. And I don't care why you say you voted for him. In my mind, you are at least morally criminal, reprehensible. And then we get, Rick Santorum on CNN saying, we just all need to give him a few days to process this. It takes time. What was that T-shirt? after the 2016 election that was so popular among Trump humpers? I think it said F your feelings. Trump, Pence, F your feelings. And they spelled out the word F. That's how I'm feeling right now about these Trump humpers. Somebody the other day said to, I think it was to Joyce, I'm not sure, to somebody on our staff, you need to stop calling them Trump humpers. That's really demeaning. Yes, I am demeaning them. If you voted for Trump for any reason at all, you are dead to me. I mean, I just have no interest in hearing your opinions outside of an academic, an anthropological, an archaeological interest. Gee, let's go spelunky. Let's dig into this. Let's find some obscure part and discover what's going. Yeah, I'm curious, but I don't even want to have dinner with you. I mean, I'm over it. Anand Giridharadas pointed out, he says, I think O.J. Simpson has a right to look for the real killers. People on Reddit have a right to figure out what really happened when men went to the moon. And Donald Trump has a right to look for the real election results. But that doesn't mean the government has to shut down. That doesn't mean that Joe Biden shouldn't be getting security clearances for the people that he wants to appoint to cabinet positions, and that he shouldn't be getting the presidential daily brief. It doesn't mean any of that. It means we should just let Donald Trump, continue on his little horse with his little lance going after his windmills, continuing his little scam so that he can squeeze, he's probably squeezing $5-10 million a day out of his base, particularly now that they're all clicking, a donation that is a recurring donation. A weekly recurring donation. Most of these people aren't even going to figure this out until they get their credit card bills in what, January? December? Well, I guess it'd be December now. And then they're going to be going, whoa, I don't recall giving Trump, $50 every single week for the last 6 weeks. Whoa, what happened? Are you ready to cut these people slack? I mean, this is, Giridharadas said, he said, you don't pursue unity with people trying to sabotage your democracy in real time, live right now. You don't reach out your hand to people whose hands are themselves busy rigging democracy to throw out all the votes from the entire state of Pennsylvania in a court filing yesterday. And that's what happened. And I see the same thing with Mitch McConnell. These people, the Republican Party across the United States, set aside for a moment the election, Donald Trump, and everything that's happened in the last 5 years. Just set that aside for a moment. Just the fact that these Republicans at the federal, state, and city level all across the United States who are taking money from Koch Industries or Charles Koch's network of buddies and all of the other fossil fuel billionaires and Massey and all these, the coal companies, the oil companies, the natural gas companies, the fracking companies, are out there actively denying that our planet is in a crisis because of fossil fuel pollution, carbon pollution. All of these Republicans are denying this for one reason. Not because they believe it, not because there's any science to support it, not because it has anything to do with a conservative ideology that you will find in Russell Kirk's book, The Conservative Mind, or in the writings of William F. Buckley. No, they're holding these positions for one single reason, and that's so they can continue to take money from the fossil fuel industry.